Proletarians of all countries unite. We are of the same blood, you and I. In the name of Perun, greetings to all. The 5. Elections of the Soviets. But our Soviets are not Dumas and not parliaments. They exist not to deceive the people with the incomprehensible and wise speeches. The Soviets are businesses and labor institutions and at the same time combat institutions. They must to do the work, not engage in chatter. On the other hand, we do not think of replacing the working people with their representatives. We know too well that power must be held in our own hands. To give power to representatives means to lose this power. Finally, we create our Soviets not to give the entire population indiscriminately the right to express opinions in the Soviets by the number of votes. Our Soviets are only for the working people, for the working population, for those who go and fight together with the true and working people. From here follows the arrangement of our electorate right, the relationship of deputies to electors, and the composition of the Soviets themselves. Yeah. Our electorate right, as it is in reality and even as it is established by the Soviet Constitution, causes all sorts of mockery and ridicule from our enemies. Firstly, they are enraged that our enemies, interpreters, restoring to hired labor with the aim of making a profit, persons living on unearned income, private traders of all kinds, monks and clergy, servants and agents of the former police, the special corps of gendarmes and security departments, as well as members of the former ruling house in Russia. Do not use the electorate right, but, of course, we will respond to all complaints very simply. Our Soviets are not parliaments at all. We are where all kinds of opinions are and desires must be represented. The Soviets are instruments of power of a specific class, workers and the poorest peasants. They are established to suppress the bourgeoisie, and it is clear that there is no place for representatives of the latter in our Soviets. Secondly, all kinds of democrats do not like that, although it is defined in the constitution how many deputies are elected to the Soviets from the village, volest, uyezd, province, etc. It is not specified exactly how elections are conducted and to what extent professional and workers' organizations, communes, etc., participate in them. All this left to local customs and decisions of the Soviets themselves in accordance with the instructions of the stick. This they say gives room for arbitrariness and does not ensure equality of rights for each individual elector. But the point is that we do not strive at all to arrange elections as is customary in democratic republics where special electorate arithmetic is arranged, and it is considered that the will of the electors taken individually is expressed in the elections and opinion of one person, even if foolish and ignorant, is as valuable as the opinion of another smart and knowledgeable. We stand on a different point of view. For us, it is completely unimportant what each individual Ivan, Stepan, or Alexander thinks and wants. We take people not individually, like logs or cucumbers. We do not tear them away from life. We know that a person alone means nothing. After all, each person lives only by common life and work, expresses not their own thoughts, but those required by their position and labor. Not the individual person is important, but the organization to which they belong. We are interested in the opinions of not individual workers or peasants, but those factory committees, rural societies and communes and other similar unions that do a great public work and are entrusted with important public interests. And of course, the local Soviets know better how to arrange the elections so that all the most important economic and the public needs are represented through the appropriate deputies. So that the most valuable enterprises, unions, organizations have a sufficient number of elected representatives. So that, in a word, the main interests are represented with the help of deputies in the proper Soviets. We need the work to go as it should, and there should be suitable deputies and workers for the Soviets. The Soviets themselves must take care of this. Finally, the last aspect of our electorate right, which is so incomprehensible to our enemies, is the requirement that deputies be elected for the shortest term, 3 months, and that electors have the right to recall a deputy who has proven unfit for any person for any reason before the term expires. Article 57, Clause B, and Article 78. In bourgeoisie democracies, as is known, deputies are elected for very long terms, for several years, and in most cases, there is no right of recall by the electors. But it seems self-evident that if we want our deputy to be truly servant of the people, not their boss, to always be under the control and supervision of their electors, to be unable to abuse and betray those who sent him, when it is truly impossible to elect him for a long term without the right of recall. Especially these short terms and rights of recall are needed in those cases when the deputy goes far away to congresses and it is very difficult to monitor him from the place. The shorter the term, the closer the deputy is to their electors, the closer the connection between them. On the other hand, life does not stand still, but where every minute moves forward, not only in a year, but in a few months, everything can change fundamentally, and the deputy must express all these changing interests. The work will go badly if everything at the local level is already going in a new way and the deputy is still harping on the old. Very often new people are needed for new work. That is why quick re-elections and the right of recall are necessary. Thank you for your attention.